Hi guys, so let me show you what I'm doing with my classroom. I'm still putting it together, but I did end up getting one of these boxes where you turn in your work. It looks like this. So there's 6 slots in here. Students will turn in their work and then they won't be able to get it back, which I love. That way it eliminates cheating, so they can't like pull it out and give it to a friend. So this is where they will turn in their work, but it's not organized by period. So I decided to try and do that without damaging this because my prep period changes all the time. So I wanted to basically just write the period numbers for each slot because without them, it looks like this. So what I'm doing is I am taking blue tape. It looks like this. I want to say it's like masking tape or something. And I'm just cutting off strips so that I can just like write them on the strips and it doesn't go all the way around. But I just wanted to make sure that there was a way for the kids to know which slot to put it in for their homework. One thing I did notice is that right now my prep is 3rd period, which is this one. So it would be blocked off. There are 6 here, but my whole thing is I don't want to ruin this like yellow, it's cardboard, so I don't want it to get ruined, especially, I mean, you can see how ugly my writing is. I did do this with Sharpie, so I'm actually going to take this one off and redo it. What I was thinking is actually going to go on my laptop and like print out the words and the number. That way it's a little bit more, I don't know, appealing, because right now it's just so ugly. This looks like an A right here, so it's not cute. But anyways, I decided to just use tape on there. That way it's just a lot easier to figure out which slot goes into, you know, which period. So I'm doing that right now, but I had these easels that I had in my first classroom like 4 years ago, but I never really used them at this new school. So I have these kind of just put up to where they need to go. Basically, this is where they drop off their homework. So it says drop off, and then these are where they'll just put their homework. And then these are their cubbies. So the reason I got these cubbies was that at my school, we have kids who are chronically absent, so they don't show up. Maybe like they'll show up 1 week and then they'll stop showing up. And then they'll show up the last week and then ask why they're failing, and then they will basically want me to give them all the work. Well, it's really hard for me. It's such a hassle because I'm already working on, you know, the kids that are showing up all the time. So I don't want to go through and look for everything for all these kids that don't show up. So what I thought would be a lot easier for me and for them is to have them each have a cubby, and there's 3 columns per cubby. So it looks like a lot, but there's only 1, 2, 3, and 4 actual, I don't know, there's 4 things here, and each one has 30 little slots. So that means that my first period, there's 30 kids. Well, there's 30 slots there. So each kid in my class is given a number, and I'm going to be writing the numbers on these little tabs so that student number 1, all of your work goes in here. So this is where they will pick up any work. So instead of handing out papers to students in class, I will put them in their boxes ahead of time before first period even starts. That way all of the kids already have the work that they have done. So instead of, you know, sitting in their desk and waiting for me to hand out the work, they just come over to their cubby at the beginning of the period and they grab whatever is in there. I am so sorry, my hair looks like horrible today. But anyways, they'll just grab their work. Now, if a student is absent a lot, the work will just start to pile up. And then that last week of school, when they do come, or whenever they do come, everything's in there. They don't need to ask me what they're missing. It's just in there for them already. So it makes it a whole lot easier for me. This is the first time I'm trying it, so fingers crossed it works out pretty well. But I want to show you also these boxes on the end. So these are for binders, for students' binders, and I originally had them in those cubbies over there, but those didn't work out too well with the binders because we fill them up with lots of papers, and some kids get, you know, the bigger binders, like 2-inch or whatever, that just get too heavy and they knock over those little cubbies. So I ended up taking those out. There was actually one of you guys recommended it to me that I put them in boxes instead. So I ended up getting 4 boxes literally that same day I read the comment from the office. And we don't usually have boxes, and when we do, it's already claimed by someone else for whatever reason, like storage and things like that. So it was really lucky for me to just have that opportunity to just go and grab them the same day that someone gave me that idea. So I put them in here. I only have 4 because I teach technically 3 different classes, I guess. So I teach English 9, I teach drama, and I teach ASB. So those are for my English classes. I don't have binders for my drama class, and I don't have binders for my ASB class. So it's just for my English classes. So it was a perfect amount of boxes for the classes that I needed them for. So those boxes just go on the end. So that way when they come into class, they will walk in. First things first, they'll put in their cell phones. So the cell phones will go in here, and that's our cell phone system. There's numbers on those pockets which match the numbers on their desk, which is perfect. So they'll put in their cell phones, and then they will come over here, they'll turn in their homework into whatever slot they have, and then they will pick up the handouts for today. So the handouts will not only include classwork, but it's also going to be homework. So homework I'm going to have in there as well, so they have it ahead of time, and that way once they finish the classwork, they can turn that in and then automatically get started on the homework. That way it's a lot easier for me and for them in terms of kids who finish early. Well, if they finish early, they can get started on their homework. And sometimes we actually start the homework in class as part of the classwork, but whatever they don't finish is homework. So that way it just makes it a lot easier for me. One thing that I do need to do though is I have this sharpener and it's plugged in right there. I don't have a lot of outlets, so I needed an extension cord because I want this to run all the way behind and sit right up on this Chromebook cart. So I am going to be doing that today. But let me show you my Chromebooks. So this is how I organize my Chromebooks. So their numbers for the cubbies, for their desks, for their caddies also match the numbers for their Chromebooks. So this is how I have them organized. It's so nice, and it's so much easier for them to keep them in order and for me to keep them looking nice and, you know, where they should be. So I have numbers down here, and those numbers match the numbers on their Chromebook. So I just cut up a piece of paper, put a number on it, and taped it on. So they are zip tied here, the little chargers. That way they don't get yanked out into the wrong spot. They know exactly where their charger is, they don't take anyone else's, and they can just plug it in easily. Reason I do the rainbow is not just because it matches my classroom, but it's because it's easier for me to see that all the colors are in order. So if the colors are in order, then chances are the numbers are too. But if I see a color that maybe shouldn't be, like purple should not be next to yellow, then I know someone is out of order. I'll take that Chromebook and I'll check the number, and I'll call that number of the student to come back and fix the Chromebook. That way they are always charged, and students next period or whatever period later on in the day are not stuck with a dead Chromebook. So I just wanted to show you all that stuff that I have. But yeah, so my easel is up here. This one is a pickup one, and this one is the drop-off one. I got these at Michael's. They were like $3 each. Maybe I got them at Target, to be honest. I don't remember. But they were like $3 each, and then I just used chalkboard paint pens to write on them. So that's what they look like. They have these strings inside so that they only open so far. The other one ripped, I'm not gonna lie. It ripped over there. So that one just stays open the whole time, but it doesn't ever like get too open that it collapses. This side I messed up, if you could see. I'm very like picky about font and stuff. So I didn't like it. I tried to erase it and there was still white on it that I couldn't get off, but they're cheapy, so it works for me. It is what it is. But yeah, so I'm going to go online. I'm going to go on Google Docs and try and print out something that says period 1, period 2, and all the different periods so that I can just tape it on here and it will just hide my ugly writing. But yeah, I really love the system, and if you're interested, I will link all of these different things for you down in the down bar.